All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Coldplay Replay, where every week we rank and review each and every Coldplay album. This week is Josh. I want you to say the name of the album because
Mylo Xylophone.
close. It is
Mylo
Mylo
Xylophone.
Mylo Xyloto. So we're
Wow.
ranking we're ranking and reviewing each and every Coldplay album, and so we got Billy the Door. We got Kate Rose, we got Gino V. Thierry, and we got
V
some
Terry, pronounce it right.
Gino
Jim Tasty,
Whoa.
Be careful. He's got a knife.
V
Got a
Terry.
Gino V. Terry, excuse me. And
There you
then
go.
we got some other Josh to round out the cast, along with myself, Brett, aka Jim Tasty. And so let's get into the quick album facts.
Can I
14
introduce
tracks.
myself really quick?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say one thing.
Yeah.
You guys saw my mini hat?
Uh-huh.
This is mini.
Mhm.
Oh,
You see
okay.
it?
Okay.
It's mini. Just wanted to point that out.
It's a cool hat, dude.
But you just like blasted through us and you pronounced my name wrong, so I don't know.
I'm sorry.
For all the years we've known each other.
I know, man.
Yep.
It's been years. It's been
Crazy.
years. We got 14 tracks, a crisp 44 minutes.
Ooh,
Yeah,
baby.
the album was released on October 19th, 2011. It is their fifth studio album. It was produced by Brian Eno again, who helped produce Viva La Vida last time. Marcus Straves, Daniel Green, and Rick Simpson round out the production for that. Sales, 8 million copies sold worldwide. I checked Spotify streams. We got 1.51 billion, which was actually
With a
more
B.
than Viva. So I'm just chalking that up to the fact that it's a newer album. So it was probably on Spotify way back in the day, maybe. So more people just streamed it. All right, so some awards and certifications. So U.S. Billboard 200 charted number one. Its first week of
Damn.
release. It was their third album to do it, third straight. Basically, X and Y, Viva, and then Mylo charted.
So why for real? Oof.
Yeah. And then it hit one-time platinum in the U.S. It got 5 total Grammy nominations, guys. 3 in 2012 and then 2 in 2013. And then it was the number 2 selling album on iTunes the year it came out in 2011, and it broke a ton of other iTunes records, like most sales, for the first week. I think first 24 hours, things like that. Those have all been.
Do we know number one?
I do.
What was?
Do you guys want to guess what the number 1 selling iTunes album was in 2011?
Oh gosh.
Nobody look it up. Nobody look it up.
I know. I just gotta see 2011 albums. Wait. Did Adele put out an album that year?
She did.
Okay. Locked and sealed. Adele.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone that's gonna take down Chris
21.
Martin, it's Adele.
Yeah, it was Adele. It was 21.
Fuck yeah! Oh my god. Let's do Adele in review.
That was
Please.
That was wild when I was checking the iTunes
into
stuff
it.
and seeing like Party Rocking and all these like songs from that year. Like I was like, wow.
Yes.
I was like, that was a
Throwback.
time, man. That was a time.
Throwback.
The 2012 Super Bowl in Indianapolis, the big headliner for the show that they brought out was LMFAO, because it was that year. It was that one year they were popular. Okay, so
What a time for music.
Yeah.
For real.
it was a
Party Rockers were
time.
in the house.
It was a time. Okay, so we got through all that quick info with the album. What did y'all think of it? Gino, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, start with me because as you guys know, but whoever is watching and listening or whatever, I am freezing. So if I freeze in the middle of a conversation or middle of me talking, one of our lovely hosts here will just take over and finish my thought, no matter what I was saying. Okay, you guys are just
Got
gonna
you.
finish it. You're just gonna go with it.
Perfect.
Okay,
I
you're just
got
gonna
you.
wing it. All right.
It's like an improv game.
Yeah.
Yes, and
There you go. So, my general thoughts on Mylo Xyloto. I think this is the most fun I've had with any of their albums so far as we've listened to them.
Wow.
So that one thing that I wanted to talk about specifically was, and I feel like I've mentioned this before, was every time I've heard Coldplay, I've listened to them with their songs separately. I haven't listened to a whole album through, as I've been doing now with these albums as we've been doing this. And I had no idea that their album did a lot of what it does, which is connect their songs. And that is some of the cool that Viva La Vida did that with their last song to their first song, but they do it here 3 times in this album. 3 times, yes. I'm pretty sure it's 3 times. And that is so cool to me that it doesn't I don't know which song to make my favorite because it's 2 of them at once. You know what I mean? So it's like this is the most fun I've had listening to an album. I've listened to it like 7 times by the time, like from the last week,
Wow.
you know, of doing the other review. So I love this one.
I love that for you.
For you.
Oh,
So what do you
Okay.
think, Kate? Then what's your opinion?
Me?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I love this album. I think it's a lot of fun. You know, it was definitely their turning point into more pop focused. I feel like Viva La Vida was like a little bit into pop, but it was still very like alternative, kind of like just their own thing. And then, you know, for better or worse, they definitely went in more of a pop direction here. Um, but you know, I'll have a lot more to say when we talk more about specific songs. But overall, I definitely love this album.
Yeah. Josh?
Upon initial listen, you know, I was like, man, this is Coldplay selling out. They're going, you know, pop heavy. Like this is just a studio made, radio friendly pop album that you can blast. And the artistic freedom and the creative liberty is gone, you know. And then I was thinking about it more. I was like, is that really a bad thing for Coldplay though, you know? It means we have the return of 3-minute songs. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you, Chris
Yeah.
Martin. We have the return of an album that is not over an hour. Breeze 44 minutes. And I was like, you know what? Maybe Coldplay's a band that's better served in the pop section as opposed to you know some of the other stuff we listen to. Even though like you know really like the X and Y, but yeah you know that Prospects March was last week. Oof, you know we could have cut some of that. Um, so yeah, I liked it, you know, and on subsequent re-listens, like I've you know these are just bops, you know. A lot of my notes is like, yeah, this is a bop. Charlie Brown, bop. Hurts Like Heaven, bop. You know, there are a couple misses, but overall, I think it's a pretty decent album.
Awesome.
People say pop music like it's a dirty word. Like it's
Yeah.
I'm one of
vulgar,
those
it's
people. I'm literally one of those people.
pop.
But
It
then I was
does
like, you
not.
know what? It
No,
serves it. It serves
pop
Coldplay
is
better
popular for a
to be
reason.
a
Okay.
dirty pop band. It's good for
Oh my
Coldplay.
Oh, Billy, what do you think of Mylo, man?
Yeah, so I remember every Teardrops of Waterfall coming out being like, "Oh, this is very different." And I think we've talked about it a couple times over the last few weeks how like their sound has changed and like every album is kind of unique, and I was like, this is like a dance party, like I'm in the basement of a frat house and like I could hear myself listening to this song. But
Yes.
and it's good, but you know, I was like, do I want a whole album of this or whatever? And you know, a lot of the songs are great. There are a couple slower songs that I think, you know, I skip. Like I'll skip a couple of them, but you know, like Josh said, a lot of the songs are just total bops. And
Bops,
you know,
absolutely.
to Gino's point, I also really like when he leaves.
Oh no.
Well, yeah, he's been stuck on the freeze frame of him just holding a knife and just like smirking for the last like 2 minutes, and I was like, do I bring attention to the fact that Gino's just frozen, or do I just let Billy like you know speak because it's such a smug look of the smirk and the knife in the hand, like perfect freeze frame. We are
didn't
keeping
know
it
this.
in the edit.
I've connected to my personal hotspot on my iPhone, so I probably sound not as good. I don't know if it's any lower quality. No.
No,
You're coming across
Sounds
crystal
great.
Yeah.
clear.
you sound and look
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you for
I
using
actually
your
think I
data.
look better than myself. Yeah.
Thank you for using
Okay.
your data, man. We appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'm
we
probably
will.
not gonna disconnect them.
We will reimburse you
Yeah.
as a
Yeah, we will
profitable
each
company
Venmo you
here.
50 cents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please. For all the
We'll send you some data.
Yeah. Brett's gonna buy you Metroid Dread. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
all
There you
clear.
go. There you go. Exactly. I'm glad I froze. What I froze? I froze like this, like that.
Yeah,
or
dude,
something?
basically, but like super just smug and like kind of like not
Just
caring
keep
about
that
it.
pose the entire episode. So if you freeze
Yeah.
again, like,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll use the other one. Billy, what did you
Mhm.
say, by the way? I missed it. You hate this album? Is that what you were talking about?
No, I was actually just talking about
There you go.
how I agreed with your point about the songs connecting. I really liked that in like when you had Life is Technicolor going into Cemeteries of London, and then you get that like 3 times on this album, which is very
Mhm.
cool because you can have
Mhm.
like you can get into the song if you want to just listen to the song, you can get right into it, or you can
Yeah.
experience that little bit of build up.
Yeah.
All right, Brett, what
100%.
do you think
Very
about this
convenient.
album?
I liked it a lot more this time around than my initial um thoughts were
When
that
it
I
first came out?
yeah, well, so for me, like Billy said too, like this was the first album that I was like anticipating from Coldplay because I got into Viva like around when it was already coming out and all that. So this was like the first album that I was anticipating. Every Teardrop is a Waterfall, like the single, the music video, and just yeah, figuring out what kind of sound they were gonna go for. I liked it a lot more than initially. And when it came out too, I was like, oh, I don't know, like I don't like this new sound, because Parachutes Through X and Y, it's a very similar sound through all three albums, and I think Chris has been quoted saying it's a trilogy. Probably, I think in an interview, Viva does sound different, but it doesn't sound radically different. Um, so this was like the first complete new sound from them, and initially I wasn't about it because I was like, "What? Like all this? These four albums were the exact same sound almost." And that's just what I thought of Coldplay, and it's still like my favorite parts of Coldplay. That kind of acoustic, like uh, alternative sound. But yeah, I love this album a lot. I don't think I'll rank it like too high, but I still like it a lot, and I it's very acousticy more than I thought or more than I had remembered. And so a couple of these songs are very stripped down, um, no like electronic anything going on. So I like that a lot. And yeah, this is a great album. Great album. Okay, so we're gonna get into the reception of the album now. So Metacritic, which is just an amalgamation of like 12 reviews, has it at a 65, which is a little bit lower than
Ooh.
Ooh.
a little bit lower
Ugh. A rent don't buy.
a
Oh my
little
god.
a little bit lower than their previous works. I feel like
Oof.
Parachutes, Viva, Rush, and X and Y are all like 70, 72. They're all like actually pretty similar.
Mhm.
7.4 user score though, so a little bit higher, but still it's the user scores on the past albums have been typically higher than that, which is shocking. All right, now we're getting into some of the critic reviews. So we're gonna start
Here
with
we go.
Pitchfork.
Sure.
Pitchfork.
Oh.
So
Who
Ian
wrote it? Who wrote it?
Ian Cohen, a new guy reviewing it.
Oh, a new
Ooh, a
face.
new guy,
Okay.
huh?
He gave it a
Let's see if he
7.
likes fun.
He
Ooh,
gave it
he
a
does like
7.
fun.
He gave it a
Mhm.
7. So
Wow.
higher than that site's previous
Dang, for
scores
Pitchfork.
Reviews, yeah.
for their last albums. And the quick little summary of the album says, while Coldplay will always be more enjoyable than groundbreaking, Mylo Xyloto works because the band once again manages to sound like Coldplay without sounding like any of its previous LPs. They maintain their
true.
stadium status grandeur while steadily challenging preconceptions. So he obviously gave it a pretty good review and seemed pretty high on it. And then Rolling Stones, Josh Eels, he gave it a 3.5 out of 5. So he wasn't
Okay. I like
uh,
that's not that bad.
Sounds pretty
he
good.
he wasn't as high on it as Pitchfork. But he says on Mylo Xyloto, the choruses are bigger, the texture's grander, the optimism more optimistic. It's a bear hug record for a bear market world. And then he goes on to say, aided again by Brian Eno, Coldplay are still dabbling in the cool or in the kind of cool weird artiness they truly went for on 2008's Viva La Vida. But where that album sometimes seemed like a self-conscious attempt to diversify their sound with a world music vibe and U2 style sound effects, this time Coldplay have integrated the inoxification, which is the term they use for the influences Brian Eno had on their albums, into their own down the middle core. So yeah, he seemed pretty high on it too. And then we'll jump to NME, which we actually got a name this time. Usually NME never like published the writer's name with the reviews, but Dan Martin wrote the review for NME's.
Whoa! Can we trust this? Is he
That's his
related
brother,
to Chris
yeah.
Martin?
It's
Yeah,
his
can we
brother.
trust this, or is there a bias there with the
There's
Martin
nepotism here?
Martin name?
This
First
is
of
how
all,
the review starts. My brother
Well-
Chris did really good.
Okay, well, so Dan Martin, he gave it a 2.5 out of 5.
whoa! Dan Martin
whoa,
hates
okay.
his brother, y'all.
That's
Oh
the
my
hated
God.
brother, yeah.
So Dan Martin gave it a 2.5 out of 5 for Enemy.
Oof.
And he says, there's nothing wrong with Mylo Xyloto. It just feels like, once again, Coldplay have done the selfless thing and gone out to protect EMI's share price. And at the end of it, remain peering off the edge of a cliff edge, wishing they had the courage to jump. So,
Wow,
Damn!
dude.
Wow!
Yikes.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's some brother rivalry right
Yeah.
there.
he was not a fan of the
His brother, yeah.
not a fan of
Yeah.
the brother or the album.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go with the next category here. We got favorite single, or favorite single / song. So Billy, what was your favorite song from this album?
I gotta go Charlie Brown.
Mm,
Heavy banger.
Good one. It's
yeah.
a good one.
Mhm.
It's a good one.
A nice varied sound. Very different from, what they've previously been known for. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Brown. Banger.
Yeah. Yeah, this I said when I listened to the first time, and I put that DM in our group chat of like the energy in this album is crazy. Like literally
So lit, dude. It's what it is.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
lit.
literally like I
So
want to
lit, bro.
say the first like 7 tracks are like all like high tempo, like crazy pace songs. And yeah, Charlie Brown, like such a feel good song, such a great concert song too. Like
yeah.
some of the
I
reviews
can imagine a lot of these songs are well performed live.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, like I'll bring it up now, but the live 2012 album is fantastic. And yeah, like Paradise, Charlie Brown, all the songs from this album too that they performed live for the tour. Like, yeah, they a couple of the reviews I read for this album too mentioned like distinct elements of like how all these songs are just so great, like in giant stadiums and stages. So they've definitely nailed that down.
Yeah.
But Kate, what was your favorite song from this album?
Me gotta have a top 3, can't just pick one. Hurts Like Heaven, Charlie Brown, Every Teardrop is a Waterfall. Basically like the 3 biggest bangers of the album. They're very much stadium songs. They're very much blast these in your car, either like in the summertime or like at night in the city. Yeah, those songs just like scream like main character energy. You know what I mean? They're just like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
feel your best when you're listening to
I
those
feel you.
songs.
Yeah.
So-
100%.
As a main character myself, I understand.
Yeah.
Oh
no,
yeah, I'm sure.
definitely.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get it. You get it.
Um,
I do
feel seen in
I
these
do
songs.
identify with I do identify with Charlie Brown as a pathetic human, so
Oh my god.
Wow. Wow.
I identify with Every Teardrop is a Waterfall because I'd just be crying. Like it's so crazy.
That's interesting that you brought that up, Kate, of like main character energy, because this album is a concept album, and it actually has
I know.
an overarching plot, and
Yeah.
there's like a comic that details like this incredible like story
Right,
of
you're
like
ruining my whole thing.
we don't have to get into it now. I'm just saying like there is a concept to this album.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like I feel like so in the yeah, sorry, I won't get into it more because like but there is a concept to it. So a lot of these songs do have like actual story elements in terms of what the story is for this whole album. But Gino, what was your favorite song, man? You listen to this album a lot, so
Yeah.
your answer is gonna be I'm waiting.
So I'm gonna go with like with Kate, how she does her top three. I'm gonna do all my songs up to number 10 are my favorite song. All the songs up to number 10 are my favorite song. It stops at Princess of China. I think the album drops after that. To it slows down in a way that I feel like if the album ended at 10, this would be a perfect album. Absolutely perfect. I think, but if I had to choose my favorite, the one that I replayed the most, um, is Mylo Xyloto and Hurts Like Heaven. I can't like I want to listen to Hurts Like Heaven with Mylo Xyloto. Just like I want to listen to Every Teardrop is a Waterfall with Mix, is it pronounced Mix or MMIX?
Yeah.
Like you know, all of them, the way they connect, obviously like those songs are the prequels to like the song right after, and it just elevates the song so much. Like
Yeah.
Hurts Like Heaven, if you play it from the beginning, it feels like you're entering the middle of a conversation.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
100.
But
That's so true.
if you add Mylo Xyloto, then you're there from the beginning. And it's just like Mylo Xyloto, those 42 seconds hypes you up so much, but not for what you would expect. Like you don't expect it to be so hype as soon as Hurts Like Heaven starts because it's so slow. And then it gradually gets into like that, you know, that beat, and then it just puts you into it. It's so awesome. So I would choose Hurts Like Heaven as my favorite song with Mylo Xyloto.
Yeah.
100%.
I know, it's
Their
because
package
of
deal.
that I almost wish that it wasn't a separate track and that it
Yeah.
was just a complete thing, because I love Hurts Like Heaven and I have it like
Uh-huh.
on a couple playlists. And if I have
Yeah.
it on shuffle and when that song comes on, it's just like, whoa, what is
It just
happening?
Yeah.
blasts you. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it,
It's
But
so abrupt.
I just think it makes it so much cooler though, because when I play them in
As an
order,
album as
and
a whole, yeah, it's
yeah,
like
exactly, and then like I see it like switch from Mylo Xyloto that Hurts Like
Mhm.
Heaven, and it doesn't sound like nothing changed.
I know,
It's
I
so
love it.
crazy,
I love
so
like
cool.
watching like the track list
Yeah,
go and seeing like where it cuts off and being
uh-huh.
like, whoa, it's like you can't hear it at all. Like
It's a
the
wild,
production
yeah.
is great.
I
Yeah.
love that. But seeing it playing it in like shuffle, I would understand. Just like freaking out of
Yeah.
nowhere, like, well, what were you guys doing over here? You
You
know,
can't
like
shuffle this album. It's just
you
not, it
cannot, you
doesn't
can't.
work.
No.
That's interesting that you bring that up, Gino, because like I said last episode with Viva, like I used to not like instrumentals as much because I'm like, why? Like there should be words with this, right?
hmm
And because this was like still the iTunes era for me, I remember buying Hurts Like Heaven because one
hmm
Milo was so short, so I was like, oh, it's like an instrumental or something. Like I don't want to buy it. Like
It was the
dollar,
same
Paying
price.
69 cents for
yeah,
this.
yeah, $1.29 or whatever. Yeah, like I
Damn,
would.
same price for Milo's. Oh, that's messed
yeah, and
up.
it was 42 seconds, so you couldn't listen to the 30 seconds.
Wait,
Couldn't
Oh
listen to
my
the
god.
30-second preview.
Milo is 42
Oh
seconds.
my god.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, Coldplay's obsessed with the number 42. It's and a lot of their stuff. So
Oh my
that's
god, you're right.
yeah.
That's interesting.
But yeah, like the
Catch that.
the story, like the build up of Milo to Hertz, and then MMIX to Teardrop, and then what's the next
the
one? Is it
transmissions one.
Full Transmission, which Gino left out of
oh
his perfect album.
yeah, to Don't Let It Break Your
Yeah.
Heart.
Well, because I feel like that's a bad transition because Don't Let It Break Your Heart is just whiplash. Like even listening to it earlier, like I still got whiplash from that transition from like a hopeful transmission to Don't Let It Break Your Heart. It was just oh my god, like we were just jerking and like going crazy. It was something else. It
It's
it
so
felt
good, dude.
it was
It's so good.
off-putting. It was weird.
Um,
Hmm.
Josh, what was your favorite song, man?
I'm gonna go with Kate and Gino and pick some multiple songs because like I actually do have a few this week. I'm gonna go top three. Hurts Like Heaven. Oh my god, absolute bop. Like, and I have it in my notes. Like, that transition is clean, all capital, like
Yeah,
clean
100%.
between Mylo Xyloto and Hurts Like Heaven. Second, Princess of China. Um, oh my god, the Rihanna feature. Like, I feel like we haven't really had features other than the Jay-Z one last week. So for this to be kind of like the second like feature on a Coldplay song, she killed it. Oh my god, the chorus, chef's kiss.
Yep.
And then third, Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown. Out of
Mm.
all the bops, every teardrop is a waterfall. It was like, it's all right, but it's not. It's not Charlie Brown. It's not
It's not
Charlie
Charlie
Brown.
Brown.
Charlie
There
Brown
ain't
was
no
just
Charlie
so
Brown.
There's
upbeat
only
and
one Charlie
fun.
Brown.
Exactly.
Mhm.
There's only one Charlie Brown, but yeah, they all have that energy we were talking about. Love the chorus, love the instrumentation, and yeah, they're definitely made this to sell tickets and play over the radio because it's pop and it's a dirty pop.
It's so
And
good,
they
dude.
sold
It's so good.
they sold
Like,
out, but at the same time, it's fantastic.
Wow.
At the
like
same
if I
time,
had to
it's fucking.
choose
I would
one
buy
to,
those tickets.
if I had to choose one to go to a concert for, it would be this one. I think I would
Yeah,
love
I
to
mean,
see this one in concert.
yeah, exact. Because I say that, but at the same time, like I would buy that ticket. Like these are pops. I would go and jump in that crowd. Like these are some good tracks.
Um,
Oh yeah.
was it Justin Timberlake that said "dirty pop" in one of his songs or something?
Yep.
Probably.
Dirty pop.
Yep.
Okay. Billy, I already asked you, right? I already asked your favorite song.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown.
Yeah, because
I also want to give a shout out to Don't Let It Break Your Heart. It's a good second to last song.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'd jam out in a stadium to that song. I was jamming out in my car to that song.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you're crying already. Like this is like around the end when you're
It's
crying
at the
already. You
end,
know?
tears are streaming
Yeah.
down my face.
Like a
So-
waterfall.
Yeah, you know what, Billy, you're right. It's good. Like
Yeah,
I did,
it's good.
I said like the album like lower, like it's not as good after 10, but it doesn't mean those last 4
Because-
songs are bad. Like those are good
because-
songs still.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, this is tough because thank y'all for like listening like half the album as songs that you really enjoy. Because like, man, like yeah, like the Mylo Hurts Like Heaven combo. Like I liked Hurts Like Heaven ever since I first heard it when it first came out, but I liked it even more this time, especially with that build up. Like Gino mentioned, like it's such a great song. Like it's like so fast, but like it doesn't like it's not like a detriment to the song. Like
It's so fun to listen. It's
Yeah.
fun to listen to.
Well,
man.
'cause-
It's
and-
that's what it is.
Kate will get into it later, but like
Yeah.
that song and what it means for the story with like the two characters, like it definitely like exemplifies like what happens in the story. I love Paradise a lot. I remember buying that song, and I was in high school at the time, and Mislav, Croatian exchange student, I was like, bro, you got to listen to this, man. It's so good.
Aw.
And he was like he was like on our basketball team, so he was like 6'5", and he was like massive, and I was like yeah, still wired headphones, like handed them over, and so I was like because I was
What do you
in
think? What do you think?
I think he liked it. I don't know if he bought it or downloaded it, but I think he like had a good takeaway. Charlie Brown is like, oh man, that main like what is it, like a guitar riff is it's just ingrained in my brain, and
Mhm.
it's such a fun song. The lyrics are great. Every teardrop is so fun too, like especially being the first single and our first like glimpse of to what kind of sound they were going for with Mylo is fantastic. Princess of China I did like more this time going around. I didn't like it initially because kind of like how Josh feels. I was like, oh, Rihanna, like a pop singer is coming into my Coldplay, like no way.
my
My
Coldplay.
Coldplay.
Not my Coldplay. Jay-Z's welcome, but only on the Prospects March tradition. No more pop stars on my Coldplay albums.
But yeah, now I'm like, yeah, I like it's not my favorite, but I do like it a lot. I love Up in Flames. I love slow acoustic stripped down kind of songs. Up with the Birds too. But I gotta say my favorite is Us Against the World. That is my favorite song from this album.
Ooh.
Whoa.
This
Good one.
Uh,
It's a good
I know
one.
we're talking about the bops, but like all of the like slower and like more instrumental, not instrumental, but acoustic songs on here are really, really beautiful. And it like balances the album really well, I think.
Yeah, and like the lyrics are so powerful. Uh and I just love the acoustic stripped down sound. So that's why it's my favorite. But yeah, like yeah, all the songs I just listed like are incredible, and I do like the overall tone of like the pop high energy sound they were going for. So yeah, this is a really good album. Okay, we just listed our favorite tracks, and now we're gonna do a little reverse, and we're gonna go to Hot Stop.
Hot stop,
I'm
baby.
gonna take it. I'm gonna take it first. I'm gonna take it
Okay,
first.
Talk.
Josh.
Transitioning off of what you said,
Exactly.
Us
I
Against
saw
the
that.
World is my hard stop.
Oh
Oh my
no!
god. Bitch, don't kill my vibe. Holy shit. I'm having so much fun with this album. I don't even love Paradise that much, but like I you know, I was bopping through Hurts Like
I
Heaven,
want to
Paradise,
respond to
Charlie
this.
Brown, and then Us Against the World just killed it. It's like we were talking last week about how you know, Cemeteries of London, you know, was the downer. This was the downer. This album's downer. Look,
Interesting. Interesting.
like so that's where I gotta go. Hard stop.
Interesting.
Um,
Interesting. Can I
yeah,
respond
it
to
was
this?
just yeah. You take it away, Gino.
Can I respond to this?
Yes,
So,
I'll allow it.
I understand what Josh is saying here, but I think of Us Against the World as like a little break in between all these bangers. And I think of
Mhm.
it as an incredible little break. You know what I mean? I think Us Against the World is a good song. Um, it does slow everything down, but I think that's very deliberate because they're like, you guys are probably sweating right now. So let's just take a break. Let's listen to some slow beats. Let's just hang out. My hot stop would either be Up in Flames or Up with the Birds. The ones with the up in their names, down for me. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Down for me. I think Up in Flames is that one where you guys are going hard and then you slow down and then this isn't so fun anymore. That's how I feel about Up in Flames. And I think Up with the Birds to close it out. It's just a weird sounding song. I think to come off of everything else that they had in this album. I think it's just a weird song to end on. You know, just a weird song. Even anywhere in the album, I guess doesn't matter if it's ending on it. But I think I would have to do two hot stops for this one because it would be
Two.
up in Flames and Up with the Birds. Because I think every other song in the album is my favorite. So that's what I'm saying. Like
Mhm.
it would be those two that would be a hot stop because they're not my favorite. You know.
Wow. So
Yeah.
this album you listen to most so far has the most hot stops. That's fascinating, man.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Ooh,
It's
got
fascinating.
'em.
because he cares about it. He cares
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
He has these
Yeah.
opinions, these hard
I have to
Yeah.
listen to them. Yeah.
All right, Kate.
Um.
Or go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I was also going to say, plus, in Major Minus, there was a reference thrown back to Us Against the World, and it's like just make Major Minus your Us Against the World like that. I like the strumming of that and the vibe of that song a lot more than Us Against the World. So you know, it felt a
To
little
listen to it
little
again.
redundant.
Yeah, but
Listen to it again.
you got to think like just going off this track listing, right? Like it's also high energy. So and most of the back half of the album, or especially the last four, are Don't Let It Break Your Heart is really intense. But like, yeah, you gotta spice it up sometimes, Josh. Otherwise,
But
it's
slow it
gonna.
down with UFO. UFO's like a nice slow one, you know. Major Minus is
I love
a tad
UFO.
bit slower. But you know, it Major Minus tad bit slower, but still references in the lyrics Us Against the World. So, you know, it just basically cancels out that 4 minutes of Us Against the World. It's not needed on this album. Like, get it
Paradise
out of
so good,
here.
dude.
Wow. Okay.
So good, Paradise.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Kate, what was your hot stop for Mylo?
Go to Billy because I think getting into my hot stops, I'm gonna go into more
Oh,
of
you
the
said
story of this
S. You
album. So
pluralized. now.
Stop.
Whoa.
Stop.
Whoa!
Plural. Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Okay,
What
Also
should I
like
throw in
plural.
as a second hot stop? I might go Paradise as a second hot stop. I just
Whoa, no, relax, dude. Relax already.
Relax.
Come
Alright,
on.
alright, hold on,
I
hold on, hold on,
I
hold on,
added
hold
an
on.
S for no dramatic
Hold
reason.
on, hold on,
Oh.
hold on. You're not gonna take my second hot stop because Paradise is also my second hot stop.
Let's go, Billy.
Wow.
Let's go.
Whoa.
What's your
I'm
first, dude?
shocked. I knew
So my
someone
yeah,
was
my
standing
first
on Paradise. It's
I'll
not
talk about my
surprising.
first because Gina was talking about it, Up in Flames. I just think like it's a nice break, but it's a little repetitive. Like it doesn't really go anywhere. And I get like, yeah, Chris Martin and Rihanna just broke up in the last song, and then they have to say like, okay, yeah, it's over, and then they have to make up in the next song. Whatever, we'll make this a slower song, but I thought it was just a little repetitive for my taste. Same thing with Paradise, which it's just like the same melody over and over again, and he's chanting over and over again,
Thank
and
you.
like I could do without. I could
Thank
do
you.
without.
As that last chorus of para. I'm like, dude, just end the track,
Like,
bro.
we
Like,
know, we get it.
yeah, we get it. It's a para
get it.
paradise, dude.
Get it.
Like,
You love Rihanna, so we get it.
exactly,
Interesting.
exactly.
Wow.
Oh
Okay.
god.
Kate, do you want me to go first? That way we can transition from your
Yeah,
hot stop
sure, yeah.
to the story. Okay, so
Mhm.
I'm kind of shook a little bit from honestly everyone's takes
Uh-oh.
because dumping on Paradise too. Well, the fact that I just listened was my favorite song, and then Josh just immediately just dunks
That
on
was the
me.
plan from the very beginning, dude. That was the plan from the very beginning. I came prepared this episode. I knew Us Against the World was my hot stop. It so happened to perfectly transition. You laid me up for the dunk. I got it in, dude.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, man, my hot stop, like, I don't have like a definitive hot stop. Like, uh, major minus, like, it's very off kilter, I guess, but I like that it's off kilter. Um, the guitar is pretty catchy, but it's like it's just in terms of just ranking. Like, if I had to list this whole album and rank them, like it definitely would be towards the bottom. Some of y'all's talk on Up in Flames definitely like it's it's probably my least favorite slow song. Uh, I don't know. Don't Let It Break Your Heart. I might go with Don't Let It Break Your Heart. Like,
Excuse me.
what?
Why?
Are you just
Like,
trying to get back at us?
no. Like,
I think you're just trying to get back at us.
Oh, I actually agree. If I had a third hard stop, it'd be hopeful transmission / Don't Let It Break Your Heart.
So you're connecting them. Interesting.
okay,
Well,
like
because that's the worst
They're a
connection.
pair.
It's
I
the worst
I'm
connection, though.
I'm just
It
going.
is, but I don't think that makes it a hard stop.
It's still
But I think it is
jarring
the weaker
and
connection.
like
You're
gave
right.
me whiplash from listening to
Or
it.
maybe Princess of China. Do I go with Princess of China? I don't know. Like,
Dude, do not go Princess of China, bro.
Whoa,
I
relax,
swear.
dude.
Brett, do it. Do
Get
Princess of
this
China.
Rihanna out of my Coldplay.
Coldplay.
Brett, you're like, which one's my
Hashtag not
least
my
favorite song?
Coldplay.
Come on, dude. Like,
Just pick one, dude. I had Up Against the World like set as my hard stop 4 hours ago. Like just do it, dude. Just pick one.
Slip the band-aid and know you can never take it back or change your mind.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going with major minus. Hard
Okay.
stop.
Oh,
Hot stop.
what?
It's a
Out
good
of all
one,
the
it's a
ones
good
you listed, that was the one you weren't supposed to. Well, that and
Oh my
Princess of
god.
China.
But I
Princess of
do
China.
like it though. It's my hot. It's like my least favorite, but I do like it.
It's a
Wow.
Mario Sunshine situation.
Wow.
It could be your least favorite, but you still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay, Kate. What was your hot stop? And then let's transition into
Oh my god.
into the
Okay.
concept of this concept album.
So the concept. I did not know a lot about this album until earlier today when I started doing my notes. When I said that this album or that these songs have like main character energy, I've always felt that way for the 8 years or whatever that I've been listening to this album.
10.
I had no idea that there is a 6-part comic book that Coldplay created, and that this album is referred to as a rock opera, essentially.
Mhm.
And so any song that I may have skipped, you know, years ago, just being like, oh, this is a basic album, knowing that there's like a full story, every single song is exactly how it needs to be and is placed exactly where it needs to be, and every song makes sense. And so now I don't really know if I have a hard stop, to be honest. Like if I'm just listening to it as a song, like as an album, I guess Up in Flames is like one of the weaker ones, and I also don't really enjoy like the harshness of Major Minus. But Major Minus is like the villain song. Like,
Mhm.
so you need it. You need like that
Yeah.
Scar Jafar moment, you know? Um, so, for the people who don't know, I'm just gonna read a little bit about the story of this. So this album tells the story of a war against sound and color by a supremacist government set in the world of Silencia, an
Wow.
Orwellian society. Orwellian referring to George Orwell, like 1984.
Of course.
Yes. Silencia has been overtaken by a government led by Major Minus, that is a person,
Oh.
Major Minus, who controls the population through media and propaganda. His aim is to take sound and color off the streets and hope to draw away feeders, creatures that use energy to hunt its prey. The album follows Mylo Xyloto, a soldier known as a silencer, in an army tasked to hunt and track down sparkers, people who harness light and energy and use it to create sparks. Uh, Throwback to parachutes, possibly. Comparable to graffiti in real life. So Mylo Xyloto encounters this character Fly, who is the sparker most wanted by Major Minus. Through Fly, Mylo discovers that he himself has sparker abilities, like from his parents. So it's basically this like action adventure love story transformed into a comic strip, and the music video for Hurts Like Heaven is essentially the first issue of this comic. So if you watch the music video for Hurts Like Heaven,
Mhm.
it sets up, and that's why I told Josh to watch it. I asked him if he
I
watched
did watch
it.
it. I watched every single music video after you said that, and yeah, it was weird.
So yeah, so if you watch the music video for Hurts Like Heaven, it sets up the entire comic story, and it's really well done. And I had
The
no idea about any of this until a few hours ago, and I think it's really cool, and I'm all about it. And I don't know where the okay, well, so in July of 2012, it was released on their website, and it was released at Comic-Con that year. That's where it was first released. So I don't know if you can still
Wow.
find this on their website or like where you can see this, or like I don't know if they made physical copies, or like I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Clearly, it kind of maybe missed the mark a little bit, since I don't know if a lot of people know about this, and it still wasn't rated as highly by critics and fans alike. But I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, and it made me, as someone who, you know, likes Coldplay's discography as a whole, it made me like really have like a newfound appreciation for this album.
Mhm.
So yeah.
see, it's crazy you said that and you gave us all the lore, but like at the same time, this is arguably Coldplay's most like surface level pop album. Like there were no deep concepts that I was picking up on like Rush of Blood to the Head. So it's like it's crazy that there's a whole comic book Mylo Xylophone cinematic universe out there. Also, I was gonna ask for my Spider-Man PS4 folks. Do you think who do you think came first, Major Minus or Mr. Negative? Um,
I'm gonna
Ooh.
say Major Minus for sure.
Because Mr.
Oh
Negative,
my
he's a newer
god.
character, right? So
right, because there's gonna be
Yeah,
some legal action there. I'm sorry, Insomniac Games, if y'all stealing Major Minus, you know.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So I
You
want
know,
to.
I hear your opinion, Josh, but I disagree. And I think that if you were
Me too.
to look at all the notes I have and how every single story or every single song continues the story and even
Mhm.
talks about specific characters, you would see how it all connects.
I mean, well, maybe I'm just looking at it because we're talking about rock operas. I'm just looking at it comparing it to a hit rock opera, American Idiot by Green Day, which like does reference its characters like a lot more and does like get a little bit deeper into it
Mhm.
all. So I feel
The
like this kind of
gorillas.
missed
I
the mark
mean,
here.
this isn't, they weren't trying to like get to Broadway or anything with this. I
Correct.
think it still sounds like a regular pop album because they knew not every like I don't know. I don't think that that's fully what they were trying to do. I think it was just
Mhm.
something like a little kind of extra, like possibly for their fans to get into it or something. But it's like, like you're still able to listen to these songs and just be like,
Right.
oh, this is a good pop rock song,
Good pop up.
as
Okay.
opposed to listening to a song and being like, oh, it's referencing characters and I don't understand, and now I feel like I have to listen to the whole thing to understand the references in this song, you know?
Let's be honest here, Joshy boy. I listen to music in certain moods, right? If I want to have some fun, I'm gonna listen to Hurts Like Heaven. If I want to cry, I'm gonna listen to Parachutes, right? I
Right.
feel like Coldplay has an album for every single one of your emotions. So Mylo Xyloto, now especially with what Kate is saying about this whole comic book, that makes this even so much cooler. And this is just, this is an album for you gamers out there, you comic book nerds out there. You, Josh, that you just compared it to Spider-Man from Insomniac. You like this album. You know what I mean? You like this album because it's so playful. It's what it is. You're talking about, oh, pop this, pop that. No, this is Coldplay becoming real playful with what they're doing. That's what's happening here. And
All
I'm
right.
having a whole lot of fun, dude. I'm having a whole lot of fun listening to this album. There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, that's
Billy, what do you
wild that
think
there's
about
You guys are
that?
shocked?
that's wild that there's like I didn't know there was like lore. Like
Yeah.
so before the recording started, I was like looking some stuff up and it was like, oh, it's like a concept album and all the things are connected. And I'm like, oh yeah, like now I'm starting to see it. Like I have the track list up and I'm like, okay, like, like I think I said before, they break up in Princess of China and then they're up in flames and then there's a
Mhm.
hopeful transmission and then, their heart they don't let it get broken. So I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And I thought that was cool, but I had no idea that there was like deep like lore and
Mhm.
weird politics and superpowers. I definitely got to check out this comic book thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So
just
Don't
looking
Let
at the
It Break
video. It's
Your
pretty cool.
Heart is Don't Let It Break Your Heart is Milo and Fly reuniting right before the big fight against the government. Um and then battling. And they win, but unfortunately then we get to Up with the Birds and our fallen soldier Milo has
Is up
died.
is up with the birds.
And
Damn it.
Spoilers!
it's
I was gonna
What
read
the
this after
heck?
this
You
recording.
listen to the album.
It's still the journey, bro. It's still the
no.
journey of
What
how
else
you
do
get there.
you think they mean by
oh
up with
my
the
But
birds?
Chris
god.
Martin didn't specifically say Milo Xyloto died in Up with Birds, so I didn't get that. So well, now
So
it's
what
been
did you
spoiled.
watch? Chris Martin, little a
There's
little a
literally
little.
like a final breath, like an exhale, like a in that song. Like
Really?
he's dead,
Okay.
dude,
Yeah.
okay? There's no
Wow.
He's
spoilers
dead.
here. If you listen to
Milo
the
dead.
song,
Wow.
Milo is dead, okay?
And then the
Yeah, you
Up
got a
song
with the
little.
birds.
and the song transitions to like it's so good. It's so good. Okay, well that was a lot. What's so cool
Deserve that,
about
Josh, after your terrible takes. I'm sorry.
what's so cool
He's
about
used to it by now.
Wow.
what's so cool about this is like I don't think they haven't done anything like this since like they've
Nope.
toyed around with some concept stuff for some of their later works, but nothing in terms of like creating a comic book and like this whole story that goes beyond the album itself. Um, yeah, I think why we all like it so much is what Gino said is like it's just a fun ride. Like there are some slow songs. It does talk about like some pretty sad concepts and all that, but just the pace of the album keeps you moving and keeps you grooving, especially. And then when the highs are of like joy are like hurts like heaven, like it's hard to ever like get too sad when you're listening to this album. Um, so Josh brought up the music videos earlier. Did anybody have any big takeaways from any of the music videos with Every Teardrop or Paradise, Charlie Brown, Princess of China, Hurts Like Heaven? Did anybody have any big takeaways with
I love
those?
the Paradise music video. I think it's super cheesy but fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all dressed in giant elephant costumes. And then I love that towards the end it goes to them like at one of their concerts and they're performing the song and they all are wearing the head that they wear in the music video. I thought it was really cute.
hmm
I like it.
Yeah, I think my two favorite music videos are the Hurts Like Heaven one because it's literally like the motion, like the comic in motion of that part of the story.
Mm.
And then I really liked Every Teardrop, not only because it was like the first single and the first video that they released, so there was like that hype and anticipation for the album. Um, but the cool little camera tricks they did with like everybody like disappearing and jumping around, and the way that song ends specifically too with Will drumming, and it's like I really like that, and seeing
And
it.
it's so colorful.
Yeah,
It's really fun.
it's so yeah,
Yeah.
so colorful, and yeah, the way that song ends and the visual elements they add to it is fantastic. So yeah, next up here we got themes, which we kind of already covered, so we'll just jump to favorite lyric. Favorite lyric. Did anybody have a favorite lyric from a song from this album? Um,
Let me search.
Some down.
yeah, I can start here. Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Just so you know, I just searched for the comic on eBay
Ah.
and it's there. You can buy them.
well, it's got to be on
Love
like
them.
Comixology or some digital.
You'd hope.
Oh, I'm a comic noob. I don't know about any I just
Yeah.
look at eBay because I
Um,
don't know where to
also, I
buy
wanted to
comics.
bring up a lot of the EPs for this song, or like and singles, like were just like different cuts of songs or radio mixes. But Moving to Mars is in the Every Teardrop is a Waterfall single, and it is fantastic. And it wouldn't be my favorite from like this era, but it's definitely up in that top. It's another like slow, like build up, like kind of ballad song, and it's beautiful. Um, but let me get to favorite lyric, which was from Us Against the World, and it was right here. Pull up iTunes. I mean, I'm just looking at the lyrics and like it's all just so poetic and beautiful. Yeah, like a river to a raindrop, I lost a friend. My
I
drunken
was about to say that one.
hazard, Daniel at
Sorry.
a lion's den, and tonight I know it all has to begin again. So whatever you do, don't let go. I mean, this whole song like has just powerful lyrics to me. So yeah, that's probably my favorite like lyric from the album. But does anybody else have any favorite lyric? Josh, Gino?
I gotta go with you use your heart like a weapon and it hurts like heaven.
Yeah,
Like,
That's what I was
you
gonna
know,
do. That's what I was gonna do, dude. I was gonna say that one. Oh my god, that's so crazy. I
'cause
really was gonna say
you're
one.
you're
Yeah.
bopping and then that like you hear that and you're like, oh whoa, like damn,
Yeah.
this is a little
Yeah.
deep.
Right?
This is a little deep, but like I'm still just dancing. But
Yeah.
like man, this song has some
Dark undertones.
deeper meanings and some lore that that we didn't that we missed.
More though.
hmm
Yeah, when you think
Billy?
about it.
Oh.
So let me get real. Hold on. Let me get real deep right now. With
All
this.
right.
You use your heart as a weapon, and it hurts like heaven. Now with this comic book, right? What if
Mhm.
the Sparkers are using their hearts? You know, the Sparkers are the ones that are sound and color, right? That's what it is. They're
Mhm.
using their hearts to produce this sound and color in this world to make the world alive, right? And maybe
Yeah.
Minus wants to take that away.
Yeah.
But
Right.
they're
Mhm.
using that's what they're using their heart as this weapon, you know, because they have such a big heart to spread
Ah,
this love and this light,
Gino,
right?
yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's so good when you
Yeah.
think about it like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
And
it's my
like
favorite lyric.
hurts like
Definitely.
heaven. It hurts in a good way, you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Billy,
But we're all
Kate.
going to hell though.
Yeah, true.
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 Yeah. So I'm gonna go to everybody's favorite song, "Don't Let It Break Your Heart." When you're tired of racing and you find you've never left the start, come on, baby, don't let it break your heart.
Mm.
It's like a nice, like, you
Mhm.
know, you're having a tough time, you're having trouble getting started, but just keep going. Just keep going.
Yes,
Don't let
sir.
it break
Yeah.
your heart, because then you cannot use the light within you to combat this authoritarian government.
Oh, you see? There you go.
Violent.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, it connects too. Yeah, you see what I mean? Use your heart as a weapon. Don't let it break your. Wow,
Mhm.
There you
that's
Ah,
go.
crazy.
See? It's all connected.
See,
All right, guys.
see,
Just
Josh,
like
This is
see all the
not.
connections.
just like the MCU.
If the album is not number one for you guys after this, I don't know
Mylo
what is.
Xyloto for Smash.
Oh, please.
dude, that would be awesome. Oh
So I
gosh.
have two standout lines for me. The first is, uh, every siren is a symphony and every tear a waterfall. Um, just because I don't know, it's you can just like
Mhm.
envision all of that, and it's just kind of saying like it's like trying to make the best out of a bad situation,
Hmm.
like trying to make the shitty things beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, and then from Charlie Brown, there are these this verse that I realized I don't know if I'm just crazy or if it's like a reference to Wizard of Oz. So the verse is, um, in my scarecrow dreams, when they smash my heart into smithereens, be a bright red rose come bursting through concrete. Which I love, but it's like my scarecrow dreams, like the scarecrow doesn't have a brain, smash my heart into smithereens, the Tin Man in the heart, and then be a bright red rose come bursting through concrete, like the cowardly lion gaining his courage. Am
Yeah.
I crazy?
No, I
Yeah.
totally see that
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
I don't know. I see something there. There's also a few references to Peter Pan, just
Mm.
like for fun. In Hearts Like Heaven, they talk about the Lost Boys.
Hmm.
And then in Major Minus, towards the end, there's this verse that says, "Hear the crocodiles ticking around the world,"
Yeah. Yeah.
which I just thought was funny and cool. So yeah, so those were some of my favorites.
Awesome. Gino, did you have a favorite lyric, or you kind of co-opted?
What Josh have
He
Josh.
co-opted my favorite lyric.
Yeah, well, you didn't. You just like the words, Josh. You didn't have a meaning for it.
True. That's 100% correct, Gino.
Wow.
I set him up. You knock him out, dude.
I like the word weapon.
I like be a cartoon heart. I like cartoons. Like,
Oh my gosh. Um.
Uh,
All right. So we are at the end, y'all. So
wait, whoa, we gotta get Ace's thoughts.
Okay.
get-
Good point. Good
Oh.
point.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think? What do you
Thank you for the reminder. Okay. So I got
Asa bit by some snakes. We're stealing that bit.
think?
he ran into Major Minus, and yeah, we haven't heard from him
There you
since.
go.
So
There you
who
He's
knows?
dead.
Who knows?
no.
Nah. um.
No. Okay.
So he sent me a private DM because I was like, I want his thoughts to be a
Mhm.
surprise to you guys.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So he said, first off, the name is terrible, no matter the background behind it. This is how you know it's not going to be great.
thank
Oh,
you.
wow.
He is not.
Xyloto instead of xylophone doesn't make sense. Thank you, Asa.
He is
Oh my
not a
God.
fan of the name. And I think when they came up with the name of the album, in an interview, Chris was like basically comparing the name of the album to like Google, like how Google wasn't a word until the company, like they created the company and
Mhm.
called it Google. So his aspirations were with that kind of line of thinking.
Interesting.
And then he says, honestly, there were a couple good songs, and I use good in parentheses in quotations lightly. He says, honestly, this is where their sound takes a more streamlined approach, and it just doesn't do it for me.
Bunch of sellouts.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's more of an old play fan, as the
Yeah,
fandom calls
he's
it.
an old play.
He likes their earlier sound. And then he said favorite song would have to be Charlie Brown, purely for the piano ending piece.
That's a beautiful part. Yeah.
But for the entire song, he would say "Don't Let It Break Your Heart" is his favorite. Wow. And then
Interesting.
yeah. And then opening title track, he says, is not a good start. It immediately made me feel like, oof, here we go. LOL. He said LOL. And
Does he
then
mean like I want to know if he means just Mylo Xyloto or Mylo Xyloto into Hurts Like Heaven. I wonder if that's what
Yeah,
he
did he
means.
talk about, because they're a two for
Like,
one
because
deal,
it's a transition
yeah.
Yeah.
song. Interesting. Disagree either way.
Yeah. And then he says ending track is not a bad ending, but in comparison to other albums, it's not as good for a closer. And
Okay.
then yeah, so we'll get into the rankings, guys. So every week we rank and review the album that we are covering in this episode. Our previous rankings are number 1, Viva La Vida, number 2, Parachutes, number 3, A Rush of Blood to the Head, and then number 4, X and Y. So I'll start it off with Asa. He ranked it at the bottom. So he gives Mylo Xyloto a
Wow.
5. He puts it at number 5. So Josh, I'll start with you. Where would you rank this album out of the 5 we've listened to so far?
Well, because Asa and Gino stabbed me in the back last week and didn't rank Viva La Vida 3 where it properly belonged, because like where the conversation was heading. Like, I think this is better than Viva La Vida, but this isn't number 1, so it's complicated. It's complicated. But like there's no way I put this about Parachutes, but is that just nostalgia? Is that just the 90s? Is that just yellow at me? I'm so conflicted. I don't know, dude. 'Cause hmm. But then I think of all the moments I loved on like Rush of Blood to the Head and like and X and Y. I'm like, maybe Ace is on to something with Dead Last. But like that's not to say that this bad album. It's just why is Viva so high? You're gonna have to come back to me. I have too many thoughts going
Okay,
on here. I didn't come in with a ranking. I came in with a hard stop and some
I
favorite
did.
tracks.
I did.
Gino, where would you rank this album?
So you called Ace an old play fan, right? I'm a new play fan, guys. To be honest with you.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's go.
I as you guys know, when I said earlier in the week, I've listened to the album like 6 times. I didn't do that with any other album. I had the most fun listening to this album. I am ranking it based off of the album.
Mhm.
Not the which ones are my favorite songs, which ones I like the least, or whatever. Off a whole album, I think this album did it better than all the other ones. I think it entertained me the most. Knowing now the story of it, I don't want to skip any songs because of that. And I didn't skip any songs previously either way, because I like the songs enough to where I'll listen to it to get to the next one, and it's just like, oh, let me hear if this one, maybe this full song transitions a little bit into the next one, and I think it's so cool. So, this is my number 1 album. This is my number 1 right now.
Wow. Number 1.
Yeah.
Wowie.
Wow.
Number 1, Viva number 2. It was number 1, but I had never listened to this one as a full album previously.
Whoa.
So,
Okay.
So yeah.
Awesome,
So
man.
yeah, definitely. Yep.
Be right now.
Kate, where would you rank this album? Where would you rank Mylo Xyloto?
Getting so much joy from watching Josh freak out.
I just don't know where I'm at.
Central crisis.
I also I don't know how I feel about the current like ranking overall, like, and kind of agreeing with that.
Shouldn't have
But
ranked Viva number
overall-
1 then. That's on you. Sorry.
Overall, I completely agree with Gino, and I'm also ranking it first.
What? 2 number 1s?
Guys, think of it as an album, dude. Think of it as a whole album. How did you feel about it, man?
Wow.
I just quickly listened to some of the songs from Viva La Vida again, and they're so good.
Yeah.
So I still feel good about having that as number 2. But yeah, I'm ranking this my number 1 so far.
Hell yeah, Kate.
Oh gosh.
Damn, I did not expect this.
Oh
All right,
gosh.
Billy.
What you said last week.
Yeah,
I also was not expecting the ratings last week.
Can I say I didn't expect it last week because Gino and Asa were dogging on the album the whole time, and then they
Dude,
turn
that's what
around
I was
at the last
saying.
second and
And they
rank it number
left,
one.
Dude,
and then we
that's
got
why I
That's
went
why I was
off
just.
last week.
That's why. That's the only reason. But
You
Billy,
stabbed me in the back.
Billy, where would you rank this album?
yeah. So, like, I really, really, really like this album, but I still love Rush of Blood to the Head. I love The Scientist. I love Amsterdam. I love Parachutes, and I love Viva La Vida. So this is not saying that it's like bad, but it should speak to how much I appreciate Coldplay in general. I'm putting it at number 4, in between Rush of Blood and X and Y.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'll go next, and we'll save Josh for last. But as I listened to this album, and I was trying to just in my own mind rank it with because our current rankings, I think are like my personal rankings too, which we can like maybe at the end like each reveal our own rankings of like the albums just to see where we all lie with different eras and all that. But yeah, like I like this album a lot. It's like your kid, like if you have kids, it's like I like all their albums. Like even the one I'm
These are Brad's babies.
even the one I'm gonna like rank the last, like I still like and had a good time with, and had a lot of good memories of listening to the uh, album and all that. But so I'm very in a similar line of thought with Billy, where because like ranking, I'm like, man, like I like this album a lot, but do I put it over a Rush of Blood to the Head, which is like a classic and has so many classic songs? Like I don't know if I can do that because even though I like Mylo so much, um, yeah, I might have to put it at number 4 as well. I love the album though, but I love it. But I'm putting it at number 4. Josh, where
I'm
would you
still
rank
so
this album,
torn,
man?
and now the whole group's torn, and I feel like my vote I don't know, like kind
Okay.
of like
Now there's more
like
pressure on you.
Solidified.
That's what that
yeah,
means.
exactly. It's like do I want to be part of the old play or the new play? Do
I
I?
find it interesting,
Pick a
Josh, that you
side.
would be part of the old play because you're listening to his albums for the first time, pretty much, right?
Yeah, but like
So, like,
I still
interesting.
enjoyed X and Y, and I don't think it deserved like
Mm,
I didn't give that last one we voted, but I got outvoted.
mm.
Where
I
did
said it was better
where?
than a Rush.
Oh, you ranked it higher than Rush.
Yeah, but I still got outvoted, and then last week was just a pure bloodbath where everyone turned around and just put a number one. Like it was so messed up. Um,
Oh my god.
I think I go number one. I
Yes,
Whoa!
think
it did. Yes, man.
because like yes, I like some of the older albums more, but I think about how they start off a stronger half and then dip towards the later half. And a lot of times it's like they're over an hour, minute if songs go on for like 5 minutes. Over 5 minutes is it's shit's crazy, and then I'm like, oh my god, can we just get to the next track? Versus here, I'm like bopping, I'm dancing. This is the first time I danced with a Coldplay album, man.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. And so it's like, yeah, it's like did I want to think about it compared to, X and Y and Rush Blood to the Head, which I personally, I think yeah, they have higher highs, or do I want to think of it compared to Viva? And of course, it's better than Viva, and I think. Yeah, I think I just gotta go number one. I gotta be with the new play. I love dancing. I had fun.
I love to
I
have
had
fun.
fun. Exactly. Um,
Oh.
yeah.
All
Although,
right.
if we do personal lists, this will definitely not be in
Coldplay,
the same place.
replay.
Yeah.
um,
Off the-
Oof. That was tough. That was tough.
so you're
Number
ranking.
one. Number one for Justin.
So you're ranking
Mhm.
it number one because of your
Better than
thought.
Viva.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 But you wouldn't rank it holistically on your own list, number one. Where
No.
where would you
no.
rank it? Where would you rank it personally, just off the top of your head, like real quick?
I think
Out of 5.
like a 3 or 4.
Okay.
I don't know, because like I really like the highs and this is the singles on like X and Y and Rush Blood to the Head. Yeah, 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
So this is
But you
just,
know, if I was going with the or with the regular version of Viva, that would rank higher. But because it's the Prospects edition, that's why
yeah.
it's
So
taken down.
this is just your beef with Prospect himself, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, which
Prospect.
I tried to say last week, like we're ranking the Prospect edition and not the regular edition, and and I still got outpaced. But
Wow.
I still
Um,
refuse to agree with
Okay, so I
I
count. So
know.
here's how I calculated. Just, and let me know if this sounds off to y'all. So I literally just added your numbers and then divided by how many people are on the show. So we got to a score of 12, and then I divided by 6 people on the show. So it puts it at number 2, I believe, since me, Billy put it at 4, Asa put it at 5, and then Gino, Kate, and Josh put it at number 1. So 2 sounds right. If that sounds good, like,
So it goes by like the smaller the number, the higher it's ranked. Is that what you're
yeah,
doing?
Mhm.
Oh, I see. Okay.
yeah. Does that
makes sense.
line up for you guys, like in terms of how I like crunch the numbers?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
as
that
they
sounds
say.
right, yeah.
Okay.
the
But-
numbers make sense. The ranking doesn't make sense though. This is obviously better than Viva.
So
Yeah, it does.
this album is over Parachutes. Are you kidding me?
Well, you put fucking Viva La Vida Prospects March over Parachutes.
when we
dude.
rank, what is it? Music of the Spheres? Is that what it's called? That's when, at that last episode, we should all do our own personal rankings at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So our official ranking list goes now as number 1, Viva La Vida, or Death and All His Friends. Number 2, Mylo Xyloto. Number 3, Parachutes. Number 4, A Rush of Blood to the Head. And coming in at number 5, last but not least, X and Y. So, does anybody know what album we're doing next week? Gino?
Magic.
Magic.
Anybody want to guess?
Ghost Stories. dude.
We're doing
No, are we gonna
Mylo's-
do-
Ghost Stories. Yeah. Why would we guess? That's the next one, isn't it?
We are
Where do we
doing.
fit in Christmas lights?
Who wants to guess what 2 + 2 is?
I don't know.
Is it, in the Fairly Odd
Six.
Parents, isn't it 3?
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about Christmas lights because that's a bop.
Well, so that was part of the
Sad. It's actually not a bop. It's very sad.
that was part of the Viva era. So I brought it up last
Oh
week.
shit.
Yeah, it was like
Oh my bad.
it was like the first song I bought on my iPhone on the iTunes store. Like I was like
Oh.
not home, and I downloaded it like from.
Have you listened to the Yellow Card cover?
No, I haven't.
It's
Wow.
so good.
Is it? You'll have
Once
to-
Christmas rolls around, listen to the Yellow Card cover of Christmas Lights. It's so good.
Josh will be happy to know that Ghost Stories is shorter than this one, even too.
Let's
And,
fucking
1922.
go, dude.
And just so you guys know as well,
Yes.
this album, just a teaser. I actually listened to this album fully through as an album because I bought the CD and I didn't have an aux cable or anything in my car, so to not listen to the radio, I would just listen to Ghost Stories. So I listened to Ghost Stories a lot. So
This
TBT for me, this
I'm
album.
excited.
very.
And conversely, I have never listened to this album.
Same here.
Whoa.
Where I fell off.
Wow.
So we'll see.
Alright.
We'll see how I feel about that.
Yeah, this
Brings
is
it back.
this next album is very personal to the band. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So thank you all for watching, and make sure to tune in next week. Hit that like button. Yeah, share it with your friends if you what.
One more thing. We mentioned this earlier. Mr. Negative was first revealed in May 2007, so he did come out. That was his first comic book appearance. He did come out before.
Disney's gonna go after Chris Martin.
Major Minus, yes. Sorry, Chris.
Chris
Your
Martin.
your brother Dan is probably going to work with Disney to take you down, based on that review. But I just had to clarify that for
Okay.
my own sake. But
Thanks.
take us out, Brett.
Yeah, if you guys like this, like it, share it. Thanks for watching, and yeah, so we'll see you guys next week for Ghost Stories.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.